All right, welcome everyone to the TIP, the Transformative Ideas in People podcast. Today we'll be speaking about how to be in love with the present through detachment. And I am going to be speaking with one of my really good friends, Dr. Rameet. For me, it feels a little strange to call her Dr. Rameet because I'm used to calling her Mittu.
My nickname, yes, you can still call me Mittu.
But yeah, so she's pretty awesome. She's a psychotherapist, life coach, author, speaker, educator who's been seen on television for holistic mental health and spirituality, and her upcoming podcast with a celebrity host. So how are you doing today, Rameet?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, you're looking
woke
great.
up, I
You're
had
glowing.
my morning routine of my greens and then my lemon water and then some meditation and then just sitting out on my deck and just being with the earth and the fresh air. So I have this regular morning routine I do, and I got to do it today, and it always nourishes me.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about what you do?
Yes. So the unique sort of career that I have chosen is an integration of the sciences, which is psychology, and then the mysticism, which is energy healing, yogic wisdom, and goddess work. So I marry both of them together. I am a psychotherapist by profession and life coach, but what I do is much more than that. I take people on a journey of understanding the blocks in their subconscious mind and looking at how we can work with life force energy, the wisdom of psychology and spirituality to help with deep healing and personal awakening. So that's sort of the core of what I do. And I offer programs for women, divine feminine healing specifically, where there are master classes, personal sessions with me, and course curriculum, because I love to write and speak.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Wonderful. So I want to start with what is one thing you did this morning to feel in the present?
I love that because I seem to have already known what you're going to ask me. But I'll go even deeper. Honestly, every morning when I wake up and I in my bed and I open my eyes, I have this one thing I remind myself, and it's my purpose is to be in this present moment. I'm existing. Can I feel my breath? Can I feel this moment that I'm alive? And how can I orchestrate my day today so I can enjoy the present moment? Because what ends up happening when most of us wake up in the morning is our mind starts to go to all the things we need to do. Right away, as soon as your eyes wake up, as you wake up and your eyes open, you start to leave the present moment. And then your thoughts become so filled with everything you have to do that you become overwhelmed, chaotic. And right from the morning, you lose contact with the present moment. So I will literally just say these few things to myself in the morning. I will lay in bed for 7 minutes and I will literally bring my consciousness to my breath and practice gratitude, and then think about 1 or 2 things that I'm going to do today that's going to really be me being in love with creation, whether it's creating jewelry or going for the walk. And I let my mind experience that pleasure of being in the now during the day. And that excites me. So that's something I do. There's all these routines I do with lemon water and meditation, but honestly, this is like the most practical thing.
So what are those 7, you say 7 things to yourself when you get up and you just lie down in bed for 7 minutes?
Two things I say to myself, and I lie in bed for 7 minutes.
Okay.
And the 2 things.
What are the
and
2 things again?
And the 2 things are, as I open my eyes, I remind myself that my purpose of existence is not to be busy. It's not to leave the present moment, and it's not to feel my sense of worth, value, and enoughness from how much I can do. The purpose of my life, I remind myself, Rameet, what's the purpose of your life? And I say the purpose of my life is to be in the present moment and enjoy and relish the now like you're with your beloved. I use a lot of tantra and a lot of analogy of the lover and the beloved as a way of being in the now. And I remember and I remind myself that my true happiness has always come from moments when I'm fully immersed in the now. So I ask myself that. And then the second question I ask myself is, what can I do today that will bring me even more into the present moment? What can I do today that I will enjoy, that'll bring me in the present moment, and I'll let my mind have a visualization of that memory or that thing I'm going to do, whether it's drinking my lemon water and looking out at the lake or going for a walk or whatever it is. So that way I can feel excited and nourished about the day instead of fearing all the things I need to do.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, for me, I wake up and like I just like, I hear the alarm, I turn it off, and then of course like I lie down again because I'm like, I'm that person that keeps on pressing snooze like 20 times or something. But like, I've read a lot about like don't look at the phone when you get up or don't look at the phone before you sleep. So I try not to look at the phone and I just lie down and I like breathe and I like thank God, thank the universe for a beautiful life, everything I'm blessed with. And then I say that I'm gonna have a beautiful day. I'm gonna have an amazing day. So then I set the tone for having an amazing day. And sometimes what I do, like today, I just played some music. I love rock music. So I had my Spotify, I just played it, and that got me up. And I'm listening to rock music while I get ready and go to the washroom and stuff. So it gets
So
me
when you
going and makes me
exactly
feel more in the present because even I have a long list of things to do. I don't like look at my list of things to do immediately.
right, because when we can start the day with love, when you can start the day with focusing your mind on the things that are going to elevate your vibration and frequency, and you're going to have a love relationship. You listen to the rock music, you dance, you brush your teeth, you have fun. This is what we need, because if we start the day with chaos, which is all the things I need to do, we're not going to want to get up. We're going to be in a bad mood. But we have to have the right perception about life and existence in order to start to allow for our mind to be married to the present moment, which is my happiness is now. I don't have to be more or do more. I will be present and do what I need to do without fear or anxiety, and I will have moments to be in the present moment. So it's like the right psychology that we need to have when we wake up in the morning.
I like how you use the word married over here. This is the right way to use the word married. Not the other side.
We're not married to a partner. We're actually married to the present moment, and a partner appears. We think we're married to a partner. We're married to the present moment because it's in the present moment that we're having a relationship.
Oh, that's interesting.
We think, oh, I've married you, but no, I am always married to the present moment because you are always in my present moment, and my experience with you is happening in the present moment. And so the greater beloved is now, and whoever comes through your universe, your reality, is the coming and going of energies and minds and humans, but all in the field of love, of now, of your relationship to the now. You are in a relationship to the now, and people can come and go and experience your relationship or not. That's the understanding of the masculine feminine polarity and how we're living it in every present moment.
One thing I want to talk about is like, I think one of the reasons we're talking about how to live in the present is because every single person struggles with it. Like, even though you're a life coach and help people with these things, I'm sure you struggle with it too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I struggle with it too. And I want to give you my little experience of like little interesting story of how I struggled with it. So I had this session with a personal coach at this gym I go to. It was like supposed to be an hour long or whatever. It was only 40 minutes. But anyways, as this personal coach actually was telling me like, how to do like push-ups properly or whatever the correct form of things. And she was giving me all this like amazing knowledge that I didn't know about nutrition, all these things. I thought I knew everything, but she was telling me stuff I really wanted to know. But as she was telling me, I heard this like really funny sound, like someone was grunting, like someone was like, like just like actually like someone. I thought it was a man first, but it actually sounded like a woman giving birth. Like it was like she was giving birth to like two babies. I don't know at a
10
time.
babies.
You know, And so I couldn't focus, like I couldn't be in the present because I was just like, and I wanted to laugh out so loud, but I controlled my laughter because it was such a funny sound. And
That's
later on,
funny.
I found out like it wasn't a man. It was like this little Indian girl. Like she was trying to lift like tons of weight. Like she was like she had a coach too, and she was like, like literally like in the giving birth position. I don't know. I
Oh
watched
my
videos
God.
of giving
That's
birth. I've never
that's
witnessed it
special.
personally, but like in moments like those, like what do you say? Like what are or would you say I was actually living the present moment by listening to the sounds
Mm.
around me? Or would you say I was not? And what could you do? What could you
So,
tell me and other people
mhm.
to do to focus and be more in the present?
Yes,
You know?
yes. Living in the present moment is when you're attuned to what's happening in this moment. You're attuned to the sounds. This was like a beautiful example of you being in the present moment because you were so attuned to the sounds around you that you got to hear the amusement, the beauty, the humor, the life expression of the now. We're in the present moment where when our five senses are able to pick up what's happening in our environment. And the more we're present, the more magic we can pick up of life and existence. The sounds of the birds, the sounds of the the grass blowing with the wind, the sound of this funny woman, the sights of the sky. When we're not present, there is because there's so much movement in our imagination and thought that all of our attention and all of our consciousness is glued to the busyness of these thoughts and imaginations, which are either future-based or past-based, that we no longer have enough consciousness and presence to witness what's happening now. So that's almost like the divorce, the disconnection from self. So the suffering happens on the deepest level, Rajat, when we yearn for intimacy, we yearn for feeling alive, but we cannot feel that because all of our presence and our senses are wrapped up in imagination and thought, in ideas of the future, obsessively, compulsively. And so we feel deprived of nourishment. We feel deprived of life and feelings and sensations because we're numb, because we're all in here. And this is why we suffer when we're not present. And so your experience was the ability to be so present as to hear something happening on this corner and to feel it and laugh, create this enjoyment of it. And we can do that with everything around us. Right.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, but I think I may have missed some of what my trainer was saying at that moment. But I might have been able to pay attention to both. Usually that's not the case. Like usually people can only pay attention to one thing. Especially with me, I know I have like pretty high ADHD. So which
Yeah.
which tells me I think what you described essentially you could sort of translate that to people who have ADHD are actually living more in the present. That's what it translates to. With what my story is and what you said, if someone has ADHD, that means they're really living in the present a lot.
Well, actually, ADHD is when you can't sustain focus on one thing in the present moment.
Okay.
There's too much happening in the present moment at every moment. You think about the stars, think about the galaxies, think about all the insects around you, think about all the colors. There's so much happening because life is full of life. It's full of creation. It's this big energy. It's a lot. So when you're going to a mall or a festival and you're overstimulated because there's just so much happening, that's like ADHD.
Right.
There's not enough attention to be sustained on one thing in the present moment, and your attention is constantly moving from all these directions. So sustaining attention in the present moment is important, and that happens when you start to work with meditation, which is sustaining focus on your own self. That's the practice.
Okay.
And the more you can sustain focus on one thing in the present moment, the deeper you can go into it. Like you're being with your beloved. If you're with your beloved and you're focused on so many other things besides him or her, you can't go deep. But if you're really with your beloved and you're fully there present, you can start to unravel all the magic and mystery of that being or that thing or that tree.
Uh-huh.
You can start to go into the complex layers of that leaf, and then you find that bliss, that beauty.
Nice. We'll definitely have to talk about meditation at some other point, because I feel like I've watched a lot of videos of meditation. I've done meditation myself. I've even been to the Osho ashram, but I still feel like there's like an art of meditating. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. Well, what I do want to get to is, since the topic is being in the present through detachment, and I feel like at least for, it's different for men and women, or maybe it's the same, but for men, a lot of these days, people are saying like, to be a man, like you got to have big goals, strive for it. And I feel that way already without even listening to these things. I feel I'm very ambitious, as you know, like I've got like two side brands I started, and a job I'm looking for, and travel plans and fitness plans, and just like list goes on and on and on, right? So I'm just like thinking about all these goals, but like I think what your point is, about what you told me earlier, outside of this podcast, is that one needs to temporarily detach themselves from these goals to feel in the present. Obviously not detach completely, but like temporarily detach. I think, is that what you mean? If
Okay,
that's
very
what
good.
you mean, how does one do that?
So similarly to you, I'm extremely ambitious with a side jewelry business, painting, ebook course, psychotherapy practice, life coaching, working on podcasts, working on TV appearances. Like when somebody meets me, they're like, you do so much. But where all of this expression comes from is from the present moment. And it's from the present moment that I'm guided by intuition, and I'm guided by the present moment, which is what my energy and my deeper soul, deeper heart, my deeper being are asking for me to do. And so when I'm doing these things, I'm doing them as I'm in the present moment. It's not a problem that we do so much. What the problem is that we're doing so much and we're constantly thinking about it. And that goal you have in mind for that brand, for example, is occupying your mind for 30% of the day or 40% of the day, because there's a need for control. We can do many things. Actually, we will do more things when we let go of control and we do those things as they arise spontaneously in the now. So right now, in this moment, as you're present, you're going to be guided to what you need to do and where you need to go and how you need to do this brand, with a bit of mind, of course. So what you're talking about is that detachment, Rachit, is the ability to do something without the need to control it. Detachment is the ability to do your projects without the need to create excessive imagination and negative thoughts, or thoughts that are completely future-based, so much so that you're no longer in the present moment. Do you understand that? The more detached you are, the more that you can do, because your energy is freer, you're being more creative. That's what I mean by detachment.
I think I understand what you're saying. I think I probably suffer with this issue, but I do want to understand the control thing, because I don't fully get it. But
that's a great question.
What I think you're saying is that, at least the problem that I face and many others face, is that we're constantly thinking of this future goal and this future, like how this brand, how this vision will look like. And we're putting more effort into the thought, whereas being in the present and actually doing it.
So here's what's happening.
Yeah.
You're giving a lot of attention to that goal, but you're thinking about what needs to happen, and you're thinking about the outcome of that goal, so much so because you believe that if I think about it and worry about it, that's the way that I can control it and make it happen.
Okay.
And the reason why we have obsessive thoughts and obsessive attachments to goals is because these goals are attached to our self-identity and worth.
True.
If I can do this goal, then that must mean that I'm a successful person and I'm worthy. So the more you have your self-worth and identity attached to a goal, the more you will obsessively pursue that goal, to the point that you burn yourself out. Your energies are scattered and you have stopped taking care of yourself. So attachment is when we are preoccupied with a goal because it serves our sense of worth and value. And then we become out of alignment with the flow of self-love and self-care and and presence. That's attachment. Non-attachment is we have a goal, but we know the right amount of energy to put towards that goal, but that goal is not defining our worth or value. We still feel good whether that goal happens or not, okay? Because our worth is tied to our own sense of who we are. Detachment is when we have that awareness. And then when we are pursuing that goal, we're not thinking so much about it to the point that we are obsessed with it. And we've lost the present moment joy, which is now. That's attachment versus non-attachment with goals.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I feel like I got a free session out of you by doing this. I feel like I really needed this. That is incredible.
Yes.
That's
how you mastered the art of non-attachment, which is what I've been working on for most of my life.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, it's been to realize that when I'm actually in the present moment is when I'm actually the happiest. I have realized that when I'm living in the present and being with right now, that's when I'm actually feeling happy. So if happiness is enjoying the cup of water or opening your senses to receive this moment, then I no longer need to chase anything. Things will come, things will flow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think I definitely need to work on that. And I think many others need to work on that as well. I feel like a lot of us have these goals, and what we're thinking is that when we get these goals, we'll be happy. We'll be what we feel like we need to be recognized as, or whatever, So yeah, no, I think I really needed that. And we're trying to control that thought and control that outcome. Like you said, we're being outcome independent, to put it in basic words. So that's awesome. I think we can maybe wrap things up. But before we wrap things up, I want you, Dr. Rameet, to give people an assignment, like a mental assignment. After they finish listening to us speak, I feel like people should have like a little homework, like assignment that they could do. Maybe it's something they could do in the morning. It doesn't have to be something in the morning, maybe in the middle of the day, in the night, or you could tell us to do something all 3 times, like morning, middle of the day, before going to bed, what things one can do to be more in the present and enjoy their day. But something simple, just a little assignment to give us.
Let me just tune into it because I work intuitively. Those that are going to be listening to this podcast, watching it, and those that are suffering from overthinking. Ooh, okay. The first thing that came up right away is improve your diet. Ooh, that just came through like a flash. You have to improve your diet. Your diet affects your consciousness. The easiest thing you can do to start to be present is to eat clean, to reduce fake sugars, to reduce caffeines, to reduce low consciousness food, to reduce dead food. If you can start to improve your diet, your mind will clear like anything, and you will just feel so intuitive and so in the present moment. Start with the lemon water in the morning. Number 1. Have some meals prepared and make them at home. You make your food with your own hands and your own energy. When you're eating out all the time, other people's busyness and chaos goes into that food. I can't tell you that when I do eat out sometimes and I eat crappy food, I am all over the place. I can't focus. The best I've done for my life has been to eat clean.
Especially if I have something greasy, my stomach's just hurting and I can't focus. I'm just thinking, I'm just thinking about how my stomach hurts if I eat something greasy.
But so gut brain, if your stomach starts to hurt, your gut has its brain. And a lot of people's mental health, anxiety, moodiness is coming from a gut that's full of toxins. When you can clear the gut and clear the toxins in your belly, your mind will feel so clear. That's the best thing I've ever done for myself. So, and your mind will feel foggy if it's not clear and you can't be present. So that's the first thing. I'm going to see this one other thing that I wanted that feels like it's coming through intuitively with
something middle of the day. So let's just say like something people
Yes.
can do is have lemon water in the morning.
Yes, yes, yes.
Little
Well,
assignment.
yes, middle of the day is eating clean, is it's making your own food and packing it up and
Okay.
starting to find the joy and the delight of eating your own creation.
But something, let's just say,
But yes,
let's
but
just say they're
I'm
gonna
tuning
eat-
into it. I'm
Okay,
tuning into it. Give me a
okay,
second,
okay,
Rashid.
okay.
There's a lot of information coming through.
Okay, something they can tell themselves. Is
I know. Yes, I have to see what's the energy asking for here. Second. Okay, the second thing that's coming up is boundaries. Yeah, I'm working intuitively, Rachit, okay? So trust me here. The second thing is, which is what I'm doing right now with you, boundaries. The second thing you need to do during your day, establish your boundaries, which is not taking on more than your energy and your mind is saying to, and not doing things and saying a yes person when you want to say no. If you don't have good boundaries and you take on more work and you take on more tasks and you take on things that you don't want to do, you're spreading your energy so thin that there's no space for you to be present and be. So the second thing you have to do during the day is you have to ask yourself, have I been putting up appropriate boundaries today? And the second thing you ask yourself during the midday is, how do I need to create the rest of my day so I have the balance between me and others, or me and my outer world? What do I need to do for the rest of the day so I have the right balance between me and the outside world? And you have that question throughout your day, because if you have a right balance and then, as I said, you don't have the right boundaries and you end up taking on people's emotions. Some friend calls you, she's going through a hard time, but this is the 5th time she's called you, she's taken up half an hour, and you're like, you can't hold space, but you're trying to be polite. You hang up the phone and now you're drained, and now you're off alignment, where you could have said, listen, I'm actually very busy right now, and we've had this conversation a few times, I can't help you right now, I've got a lot of things going on. And if they don't respect you for your needs, then they're not the right people for you. So that's the second thing you need to do during the day, creating appropriate boundaries.
I just wanted to say, I think a better thing to do is to not even answer the phone, because I realized once you answer the phone, and they'll be, oh, but one last question, and it just feels so bad to just put the phone down just like that. I mean, especially to your friend or your family member. So
absolutely, and it's okay, but it's also okay to pick up the phone and practice saying, I'm not available right now. Or if you somehow accidentally pick up the phone, both are important to do.
Right. Yes. Okay. And what's number 3? I love it. I love that the boundaries thing is definitely one thing I'm working on with myself, with people, but especially the energy thing, because just like both of us, we're so ambitious. We need to really control what we do in the present moment.
Okay, the third one. Let me tune into this and see what's the third.
Best thing you can come up with for our listeners.
Well, let's see what they want energetically. So the third thing that people can do in the evening time, Rachid, is that right, in the evening?
Yeah, let's say in the evening time. When they're...
Okay, this is coming up. People are into binge watching shows, and that's a way of avoiding the present moment. People, when they come home in the evening, they like to veg out, and they like to go into these loops of overconsumption of social media, phone, videos. And this is actually a way of trying to numb ourselves from the present moment. So the third thing you need to do in the evening is you need to stop being into these cycles of overconsumption and over consumption of media and TVs and binging on anything. And when you start to do that, you ask yourself the question, am I avoiding this present moment? Am I avoiding my feelings? Am I avoiding what's going on? So if you can stop the habits of overconsumption and binging on anything, then you can actually create more time and space to be in the present moment and be with your breath. And a lot of times being in the present moment is difficult for people because they have a lot of over anxiety and intense emotions. So the third thing you want to do is have a meditation practice or a release practice where you can release the emotions, the anxiety, the overwhelm. So that might be going to a meditation class, doing a yoga class, writing in your journal, taking a bath, doing a visualization. So something in the evening to kind of ground your energy and to also feel whatever emotionally is coming up so that you don't result into binging on anything and overconsumption of media. Yeah.
I just want to know, like, I'm glad you said that, because that's my big problem is like, I'll get on Instagram and then I'll just look at it because it gives you like this dopamine or whatever serotonin and all those
Yeah.
good feelings. And I'm usually looking at like people like falling off, like jumping off mountains and flying and I don't know, doing extreme things. I guess that gives me an
Mm.
adrenaline rush because I'm so drained in the evening. So I'm like looking at these things to feel energetic
Mm.
again or feel good
Mhm.
again. So,
Mm.
or pictures or whatever funny things. And I'm like, I'm going to spend 5 minutes and I look at my watch and it's like 20 minutes or it's like an hour sometimes.
Hours,
I'm
sometimes
like,
two
oh
hours
my
for
gosh, it's
people.
past my bedtime. I wanted to do this task, that task. And
Yeah.
how do we avoid ourselves from like, how
Yeah,
do we
so what you
avoid
do,
ourselves from doing
what
things?
I would suggest is in the evening, you have an action plan of 2 items you're going to do that's nourishing for you. And
Mhm.
that's a healthier way of getting your batteries filled up. And you have that in place. So for me, it's a nature walk, and being by the forest gives me more life in my batteries than scrolling YouTube. And so you have a plan in your mind of the things that you're going to do in the evening. And you also have boundaries around, I'm not going to be doing work. I'm not going to be doing more. So you have to do that. So it's literally a practice and a mindfulness. When you're also scrolling on the phone constantly, you have to start to become aware and ask yourself this question, which is, what am I avoiding right now? What's uncomfortable that I don't want to have to face? Okay, you're scrolling. And if you can just have the question, what am I avoiding right now? And what is it that I don't want to face? And you close your eyes and you take 3 deep breaths. And you just put your phone away for a second and you put your phone away and you start to notice that anxiety that wants to be like, oh no, I want this. And you just become very aware, like the observer of you wanting and having this anxiety and impulse to use the phone again. And you just observe that impulse, that anxiety, and you ask it, what are you about? What do you need? So it's the practice of being aware of your habits, the practice of being aware of what's happening internally as you're scrolling the phone. And it's the practice of choosing to have activities that are more nourishing for you and having those set in place. That's the best recommendation I can have.
That's amazing. That's
Thank
amazing. Yeah,
you.
okay, I'm gonna try that tonight or whenever I get on my phone on Instagram. And I'll write me and others listening will write 2 things that we'll do in the evening to calm
Yes.
ourselves down, and we'll try to stay consistent.
And
And first
boundaries,
thing is lemon water when you wake up
detox,
and during the
and clean
middle of the
eating.
clean eating throughout the day, of course. And number 2 is establish boundaries of what you can do and what energies you can take on and which people you can talk to. And if you can't talk to them, put boundaries with them. So I love it. I love it, Dr. Amit. Thank you so
Perfect.
much for everything.
Thank you,
Great
Rachit,
wisdom.
for creating this platform. Thank you for
Yeah.
creating this platform and making it happen, Rachit.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to record my first podcast with you. It's a great way to start it. And if you want to look up Dr. Mead, I'm going to put the link below this YouTube video for her social media,
Yes.
for her websites, for her programs. You can contact her for anything you need.
Yes,
So
it's my website is Dr. Rameet, like my name, DrRameet, lovelife.com.
awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks
You're welcome.
everyone for
Take care, Rachit.
listening. Thanks everyone for listening and tuning to the tip. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye, Mite. Before you leave, let's take one deep breath together.